Hello and welcome to another gameplay review, and we have here today a Challenger Lillia versus an Udyr, a low elo champion by any stretch of the imagination at the moment, ever since they shifted her a while back to give her that healing passive. Conqueror, not Dark Harvest, has been, well, a bit of a flex both ways actually. But, you know, it's very interesting to see someone who plays this champion in Challenger and still has good success with it, especially against an Udyr who's very much her analog. Now, this particular Udyr has decided to go for the Wolves Gromp Blue, which I love. We're going to watch this as well. Runes you would have seen on your screen, absolutely standard Fista stuff. This I love because it's an unknown, right? It's an untrackable thing, because you think, oh, Leashless, did they go buff Krugs Raptors? Did they go buff Raptors Krugs? Did they go Raptors Krugs Red? Or did they do any of those combinations on the blue side? You have literally no idea. And so what that does is, and in a very interesting way, so if you're high elo jungle, listen to this, distort the counter jungling of your second spawn camps. Because as we all know, the Lillia is going blue Gromp Wolves Raptors Red Krugs, right? So you know 420, that's gonna respawn, 435 to 445, 455 to 510. You've got those ranges right around 530-ish. You know when they're gonna respawn. When someone goes leashless and they distort the order of the camps, it throws all your natural timers completely off. And that's really interesting when it comes to these sorts of things. Lane is moving to ward and junglers positioning themselves to take your camps if you're busy, especially as a farming jungler. And now, if the Udyr goes and does some cool stuff down here, and the Lillia knew he started wolves, well, maybe we could snack those at 355-ish, right? Maybe we could. But typically, you're not in a position to do that, right? And you would expect it to be like a 4-minute 40 spawn. You would expect a Gromp to be at the 4-minute 20 spawn, especially seeing as you probably thought he started blue Gromp wolves. And so, when you throw all of that off kilter, you really do get hidden tempo advantages. Now, you see, she goes back to base here because it's like, well, look, the Scuttle's spawning, Udyr went leashless, I don't know where he is, and Renekton's like, I don't know where he is either, so let's go figure it out. And boom, he shows a bottom lane and you're going, oh, he did a leashless, and now what you do is you click on him as he goes for this gank here. You just observe this, you watch his summoner spells being burned. That's all you do if you're the Lillia. Ooh, first blood to the pike. But you left click him. Okay, lower MMR plays, you left click him. In the top left of your screen, you're going to see this, what you see here in the bottom left, you're going to see in the top left in-game. And you look at the timers of the buff, Crest of Cinders and Crest of Insight. And you're going to see that the blue crest has way more time ticked off of it, so you know that the guy started on that blue side and he did the red afterwards. Great, easy way to track the kind of motion. But this leashless start throws off the Lillia absolutely completely, because she thinks he's probably going to be topside, doesn't want to go fighting the Udyr, right? And because Udyr will win that, and she's a little nervous about it potentially, she just doesn't stick around for the scuttle. Whereas most of you, I would say, look, you have prior with a Renekton, you should, go do the scuttle. Because you know you're going to get there fast, and how did bot lane not see this or understand this? We saw the Udyr show up. We're going to hit that sweet spot on that W, of course, and then the true damage on the outer twirly whirlies. There we go, a couple autos as we chuck those out. I mean, if you're the Udyr, nothing you can do about that other than hover in shadow, but you got to do your business, keep sequencing. And Lillia here compromised a bit on her sequencing, had to wait around, wait for the Udyr to leave, but that's fine. Makes a good proactive play there, a nice little gank to get on the map, and now can carry on sequencing. Now the Udyr could, in theory, cut back up to counter jungle. Again, we know the spawn timers of these rotations when you're in high elo. There it is, there it comes. But he hasn't based yet. She has, and even though it's only a Dark Seal, it's just, you don't really want to go for those fights. 453 actually on the Lillia, so very nice and efficient there, nice and fast by the Challenger player here. And the Udyr can do what we call, well, what I call, and have called over the years, a clean 6, right? Where you kind of do a full clear, which includes 4 regular camps and 2 buffs, and then you gank a side lane, you take a scuttle, you take a second scuttle, you end up on the same side, and then you're like, well, I didn't get kills or enough gold for my dreams, my Bugatti, so what I'm going to do is go and do another rotation before I go back to base. And what you can obviously do is, if you track the enemy jungler, in this case sequencing to the top side, go for a sneaky dragon on first rotation. But only if you can actually snag it. Only if you can actually snag it. Malkin moves in for a sapling toss, so we're going to kite this way so that doesn't get any activation. You can see here we do have vision, obviously. Yeah, cheeky little snack by the Udyr knowing this is happening. We have this deep vision here as well, so we had visual confirmation, which helps. No random Lillias on the map. And then obviously now, he left his Krugs on the map. So he could go for the Krugs, but the Pike goes to the mid lane. The Lillia says, look, I better help this out here. Bard is also roaming. Here we're going to get that Q flash mechanic going. And boom, sweet spot damage. not necessary. The Pyke dies as well. Why did the Lillia go for this? Well, because we know that the Udyr, if he did that, right, either went straight back to base, went straight to the dragon, or carried on sequencing. Yeah, don't do that. That was a really terrible roam mid lane by the top laner. Wasted ult now, and obviously he's against Renekton now. So the Lillia here, we do this, we finish it up, we know that they're doing the dragon, and logically, if you see a Malzahar hit 6 and Aurelia hit 6, and you know that they're going to be shoving in a little bit, it's obvious that after the dragon, they're going to be rotating this. So if we have time to kill before the Gromp spawns, which again, look, it isn't even up yet, then go invest that time ganking, right? So if you're a Lillia farming jungler, specifically a Lillia as well, and you farm quickly, which you do, like a Karthus, you're going to have a lot of downtime between the start of your sequence and the end of your sequence, or the end of the sequence and your start of your next sequence. So spend that time investing into ganks, objectives, deep vision, counter jungling. If you're strong to fight, go fight. Those kinds of things really do add up nicely. And here we have the Udyr, obviously, in control. Well, we did help the lane, nothing we can do about it. You know, in control of the objective game, but Lillia has had good presence on the map, and I think Udyr's going to carry on with his farming business. We're going to finish off this Gromp here to get 6. I carried on playing it, but I want to showcase something very important. Because what happens is, they place a control ward to check your vision, and what that does is deny vision. And 99% of junglers will hit this ward now. I know it's got a funny face. I know it's got a cool nose. Look at that. Don't hit it, right? Just go. Now, obviously here, we don't wait long enough for this vision to not tick. So that's the error of the Lillia. She's like, let's just go anyway. The Bard was like, well, maybe if we wait for it to tick away, we'll be okay. Now we have denial. So the Lillia, a little bit too excited. The Bard, support knowledge about vision, rightly played. But the lesson is, don't hit the ward when you think it's denied vision from your control ward. And also, if there's a gank with good positioning, don't hesitate. Just go. Huge, 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 huge. So we're going to move this. Azra's like, well, I'm doing my waves, but you know, I think a kill here on a gank here is nice. I'm going to chuck that E to early seedly thing. Hit the R. Kai'Sa's going to go to sleep. We're going to do this over the wall here. We try to get the sweet spot. Boom, take damage, nicely done. Cool. Now, if we know where Udyr is exactly, we could go counter jungling. The fact that he flashes down would indicate maybe Udyr is here, so let's have a look. All right, not quite, but from our perspective, that's a possibility. So while we could counter jungle, Aurelia has Prior. The other support, Pyke is still in the area. Udyr could be sequencing down. Not worth it. And in my jungle detail, you would have seen the pop-up about the jungle courses and the memberships. You know, I have a weekly video I release privately in the private jungle Discord, Jungle Heaven, along with our weekly lectures and, you know, guest challenges, streamers, and all those cool things. But the video I did this week was a game where I was ahead 9K, behind 9K gold at 14 minutes, and we still won. And it was very much the same kind of decision-making that I had to do, but for your general player base, right? The fact of the matter is I got a dragon, I was able to do something bot lane, and I decided, hey, I'm not going to go counter jungling because there's just too many variables. But what I do have is control over my jungle. So I take my Gromp, I take my Wolves, I take my Raptors, I take my Krugs, you know, control the red collapse where possible. But I don't coin flip a bad decision, right? You take that 80% probability decision rule that Scenarios uses, rank 1 Mercy U World, and you just apply it to any sort of situation where it might be a little bit off. Because the Udyr is up on CS against the Lillia, right? Lillia is a farming jungler, but the Udyr, exquisite rank 1, not rank 1, but level 1 pathing, definitely not rank 1, but excellent level 1 pathing to completely throw off the Lillia. Used it very, very well. His bot lane unfortunately threw that lead, but then a nice dragon, like he did a good job, right? And the Lillia is compromised a little bit, but she's rotated perfectly, pathed perfectly. That E was not perfect, but it is what it is. It really does hit mega blades onto everybody, and now we just space out. See if we can get a kill ourselves. Force the flash from there. Oh, sniped! Nice job there, Ruler. We don't often see global ultimates on this channel hit. So I'm very excited that that did hit. The coaching channel, which is all your coaching beneath Mercer tier, that has a high hit rate on these globals, which is interesting. But on this channel, no. And it's not like there's like we're dodging or anything like that. It's just random luck, I guess. But yes, so in that video, that private video weekly that I released, that's the same kind of principle here, but you're seeing it here as well. You know, no uncertain variables when you're a little bit behind in tempo. You're feeling a bit compromised. Just go take what's guaranteed, what's free, what you're owed, and then make the right rotation when necessary. Now, the Renekton is obviously doing what Renekton does. Pyke's going to be roaming to the top lane here. That was like a presupposition from my part. I didn't know if he was actually going to do it. More like, I play support as well, so I'm thinking, you know, bot lane isn't going so good. and my ADC isn't as good as this Ezreal, so why didn't I, just go top lane? Like, he's proxying, I can do stuff, he's low HP. So that's like a good roam I would do as well from the support position. And Udyr, in the meantime, I think we can all agree the farming menace is great for himself, not for society. And even though you're up 20 CS, yeah, you got yourself a good old-fashioned dragon, nice dragon too. You didn't get the Herald. And in terms of gold amounts, Lillia's at 4.1, you're at 3.8, so that gold is going to start to go the other direction. Because she can keep up to a reasonable degree, right? As... let's watch that in real time. Very, very unlucky for the blue team that Malzahar did not die. We're going to hit that QQE, get that stun, except there's a passive, obviously. We're going to get hooked into it. Oh, silence. What a clutch silence. I've never been more excited by a Malzahar play, because that's literally the only thing you can get excited about. Chuck a Swirl Seed. We're going to get the ult here. Upon taking extra damage, will do some more damage yourself. The ult, into the double swoop, true damage, Q-smack. You want to see that again? I want to see that again. That was nice. So this is the kind of stuff that's important, right? You're behind in farming tempo, but you can still rotate to the right place. Nice dodge, goes back in with the sweet spot here. Double swoop positioning on that Q to make sure we get that true damage outer edge hit, and then we can translate that to an objective, hopefully. But unfortunately, Udyr is shadowing us now, knowing that's what we're looking for. So we look bottom lane, we're like, Brad is over here. His homie is also over here, 3 plates. We do have Herald we could use. One could argue it might be better to leverage that mid lane or to shadow bot lane here. I think we know that Udyr's here. I would prefer maybe a shadowing using the Herald. We can clean up the kills. We see the Lillia actually rotating from the dragon and not doing it, which is great. But that should have been the first decision, right? That should have been absolutely the first decision. Because now you have this crashing wave. You have the HP advantage. Look how strong she is. Tick, tick, boom from the passive there. What is it called? Magic, weird pixie dust stuff. Deer Bambi dust. And here we go again. Sweet spot damage on that Q. Respaced a little bit. We're going to flash Q that one. And now we do have the Herald, which we cannot use because Pyke's back in the lane and we're a little low HP and now we're compromised. If we go straight away, even if you don't get kills, you can at least use it to get some plates. I like that into a potential reset if you need to, without forcing the dragon. Now, Udyr could sneak on in and do it, but just basically balance your back timers. If you can do it, if you take this turret, you do kill Kai'Sa, you take the Krugs, everyone can go here and pull back, then go for it without a doubt, because now your chess pieces can move around the map, right? Bot lane can go mid lane, bot lane can go top lane. They can go back to bot lane, you can just shadow. There are things we can do, right? But I don't like starting it up when very clearly bot lane needed our help, so keep your eyes up for those wave states as... yeah. Now he wants to go counter jungling from his perspective, but is Lillia there? Is Lillia somewhere else? I don't know where Lillia is. She summons a Herald, which gives away that global location. We are going to try and punch this into some plates with Ezreal's pressure. The Irelia and the Iria have moved on down. We suppose this as the Lillia. We're stronger. We've rushed at Demonics. Which, I get it, but that nerf did it pretty badly for their farming cadence. Okay. Good steal. Oh my goodness gracious. Like, this is where she becomes, there you go. Keep your movement spacing. Use your auto attacks, use your movement speed passive that obviously scales up. They did nerf that, but it's still good enough to kite many champions like the Udyr. And make sure you just keep hitting those spammable spells and in and out gameplay, right? In and out gameplay. You are irritating. No one gets onto you. You keep that spacing. Now, we can't actually say auto spacing when it comes to Lillia, but you know what I mean. That's the kind of stuff you want to do here. We go in, we go out, they can't stick to us. The rest of our team is slowing and peeling. We have our Swirl Seed as well, which, gives them a slow 40% for 3 seconds. At this stage, it's so good. Well played. 604, all from Demonic's Embrace. Let's look at the damage. 234. You can't see it, but 234. It's not much. I'm not nearly... I wouldn't rush Demonics in anything I play. It's fine on the Udyr. It makes sense on the Lillia here. And the biggest thing is, while you do get the tick damage and percentage damage as well, you also gain some of your health into that ability ratio, into the ability power from it. But the fact is you have HP. And in a game where you're getting attacked a lot and there's champions that can really do damage to you, then it's good to have a bit of HP in pocket, which Liandry's no longer gives. I do miss that. I do wish it still gave HP. And after all of the combinations we've had, we're seeing a resurgence of the Liandry's Ryle's combo. Except back then we had Haunted Guys, amazing component, And we had HP on Liandry's too, so we had a bit more sustain when there was a lot more damage, and there's more damage now than there was then. Does suck sometimes, so makes sense. Faster clears, good HP, good conversion ratios, a little bit of tankiness. We've got the last chapter ready in pocket for mana sustain and perma fighting. Pyke goes mid lane again, hits the hook onto the Deer Lady, and of course ult goes through, but the E does not. We're just going to go ahead and smite the Kai'Sa. Use that W for gap closing, but also escaping, right? You see that a little bit in the higher levels of play, more so than the lower levels of play, but we'll take 2 kills, obviously. 814, that is a kill and a shutdown, but that's fine. Game is still winnable from blue team's perspective. Depends if Kai'Sa has a will to live or not. In her defense, while the champion is absolutely broken, the Pyke did over-ditch her. I think, here we go, that's what the Maokai was trying to do the whole entire game. He finally hits one. Never flash Maokai if he's rooting you. It's a waste of your flash. It's going to travel with you and knock you back, so don't do that. Oof! Auto camera. Why? Tree dies? Udyr is just living? And this is the thing about Udyrs. If you're good Udyr, you're punishing the Lillia a little bit more while still maintaining the CS control and having that objective control. Stuff I like to talk a lot about because it's all very well having the CS lead that he had. It's 120 to 120 now, so he's lost it. But it's all very well having it, but if you're not getting any conversion into objectives, kills on lanes, tower pressure, making the enemy jungler sweat just a little bit, making Lillia think this might in fact be that Bambi movie, you're not going to realize a lot of that lead that you have. Pyke again is roaming, such an annoying champion. Chuck an E, gets some burn, ha ha ha, gets slowed. Now we have the legendary combo of Liandry's and Demonics. We'll see how the rest of the build goes. Obviously, you know, in this particular game, not a lot of assassins. Technically, Aurelia will maybe be one. If Udyr was AD, he would be one too. Pyke is one. So, I mean, do we go with that Zhonya's? I think we could be prudent enough to do so. Like, I don't think anyone's complaining if you go Zhonya's. Let's look at the runes a little bit. Oh, wait, hold on. We got to fight here. Uh-oh, we got to... Why does that happen twice? Why does that happen twice? Now we're getting a lot of sustain, but it's not enough. See, I feel a little bit better. Because in that video I was talking about that I made for the Discord yesterday, you know, I was having this whole like educational voice, like, see, you do this, and look at how amazing this is. And then the second Herald spawns, and I'm talking like, okay, look, I think we should do this fight. I think you can do it. What's going on here? Ezreal's cleaning up. The champion is super strong. Udyr's on him, autumn arcane shift of the wall. He's trying to get to the wall, but he cannot. He is slowed. Tick, tick, not enough. Anyway, so we get to the same situation. I'm like, hey, we can take this fight if you're fed. Go for it. And I just run in like an absolute idiot and die. So it looked very much like this. Like just overcommittal position. Think you're stronger than you are. And yeah, it's quite funny. So I feel a little better now. It's happened 2 days in a row, and the second time it wasn't me. But that's okay, you know. If you think you're strong and you can 1v9 a game, you're going to go for those plays because you think, hey, everyone should be there. We should be able to do something about it. Doesn't always happen, as you can see. And then, obviously, the enemy team's allowed to trap you and kill you because you're the focal point. So, it does happen. And as long as it doesn't happen more than once or twice a game maximum, it's usually okay and you can usually win. But just keep your eyes open for that kind of situation. Dragon is spawned. Renekton bottom lane. Malzahar's ult almost up. 5 seconds. Ezreal ults for poke. Guess it does something. Lillia is just pulling this out. Silence a lot of poke damage, a lot of percentage damage as well. Look at this. Here we're going for the Drowsy. We're going for the Drowsy. The Maokai is going to try and stop us, but it goes the other direction. We're able to Zhonya's ourselves with a stopwatch. We are, in fact, going for that. Malzahar ult on the Udyr to make sure he dies, so we have a guaranteed smite on this dragon. Well fought. Well fought, yes. Very clean. That's the whole point. If you have numbers advantage and poke advantage, and you have the lead, poke down, poke down, poke down, when they're low enough HP, pull the trigger and go in. Right? That's the point. You want them to go low enough such that you can then go in. And Lillia really does allow this. Now, we have 3 people bottom side, so what she says is, hey, let's quickly take this Herald as well. I mean, I like that objective, ping pong. This pressure here is going to force them to show themselves in that lane, so we should be able to get this free objective. Now, what we want to keep track of is obviously the Udyr, and then we can go take his blue side. There we go. Push top side a little bit. There we go. Nice synergy from the mid lane. Exactly what we want. I'm still amazed that we have flashed in a challenger level game with a Maokai. W already active on 2 champions. Kind of wild that that happens. Got to be really disciplined with it. You got to flash out of range before, or you got to hold it, hope you can survive, and then flash later. It's really tough to do, obviously, but still. And another kill, 11-2-7. Low elo champion in terms of win rates and percentages and play rates. Easily playable on high elo, no stress, obviously. But definitely doesn't have the same power curve as a Curtis or a Fiddle. You know, there's a lot of Korean one-trick Fiddle players in high elo, and that server, because he just offers a little bit more, he's not easier to play at all, he's way more unique, but he's definitely less conditional, right? Lillia can sometimes feel a little conditional, and a lot of it is because you don't really want to get involved as much early, but she's done absolutely a perfect job in this game. Bowling ball misses. Bardold forces the flash, will take that as well. She's played off of the map cadence and the tempo perfectly. This really showcases, actually, they are analogs to each other, the Fiddle and the Lillia. The Fiddlesticks Platinum coaching that I just uploaded on the coaching channel tonight. Same time as this one. The Fiddle didn't give up things, he just should have, right? Bad situation, didn't know something was going on, he just went for the uncertain plays. The Lillia has only gone for the certain plays, right? Only gone for the certain plays, as Bard gets caught out and killed by the Kaiser. So she has decided, maybe I'll do a little bit of something. And that really, that really does add up, right? In that Fiddles game, just didn't give things up. The Lillia just had no knowledge of the Udyr whatsoever first rotation, just said, I'm not going to waste time scouting a scuttle I might not get. Now, obviously, we saw we had Renekton prior, so we probably should have used that if we felt strong enough. But if you don't, go back to base, try to get the opposite scuttle. Got denied that too. Now we have to wait in a bush to see what Udyr's going to do. We wait and we get a gank off and snowball that game from that. Here, a nice little rotation. We could go straight for the Baron, obviously, but we need the Ezreal to be with us, and you don't always have to go for those things. I do like to do that, but, you know, in high elo, sometimes you really don't want to coin flip anything. Because you have, while you have that sort of synergy as a team, we can go do it now, actually. While you have that synergy as a team that you won't have in low elo, the 3-stack will definitely apply pressure. That E onto the Kaiser. W into the Swift Q. Nice ult by the Ezreal on top of that as well. Really nice rotation. Now we can do it. Now we can go. Goon squatted. You know, if they have 3 or 4 up on the blue team and you have HP, if you're HP compromised, you know that whole battle is just not worth the time. So it's easier to say, hey, look, we can just rotate down and kill them, clean them up. Hey, look, we can rotate and kill them, goon squad, and then go to the Baron. Blue team should not be doing this. They should be looking to offset pressure in other directions, like up here, and not overcommitting past vision lines. But they're not doing that, because even in Challenger, people are undisciplined when it comes to fog of war gaps. You see? Fog of war gaps. They just don't... Although they don't really have that... Yeah, kind of. Like, it's all fog of war here, right? Which is the pathway they took. If you see them, then this is less of an excuse to die, but... do be that way sometimes. By that way, sometimes, I mean that way all the time. We have a fight in the mid lane here. We are pathing in the opposite direction to our team. As you all know, I'm very much a supporter of make sure you are there with your team path in that direction, just in case, because you are the fed livestock that's there to do stuff. We're going to get that smite. We're going to get that. Oof, we miss it. We'll turn to the Irelia. We don't overchase. We do get the tick anyway. Yeah, nice rotation, nice cut. We had 3,000 gold. I would argue if that's the kind of gold you have, and you can go finish an item, please go finish the item long before this happens so that you can actually rotate with the peak item beforehand. Don't stay out greeting for unnecessary gold. But in this particular case, we finished the Baron and we went here, right? So now it makes a little bit more sense. But if you're strong with your itemization and you don't really need to base, then yeah, just rotate, deal with it, and fall back to the dragon here. We'll base after this because we'll have... their team can't even close this. You see, you don't have to worry about it. Like, that's why you leave that dragon, you fall back to it later, because they can't go through the mountains of vision you have without being picked off or screwed over in some capacity. So at this point, I would like to go back to base and not do the YouTube challenge, but we've waited so long here. The Renekton's on the map, the Malzahar's on the map, so we better be very, very quick about this. We do get ourselves a nice, juicy Banshee's Veil. We've got the Mejai's, obviously, and we still have 137 in pocket, so targeted gold reached. Which is fine, as long as you get back on the map in time. That's the most critical thing. Don't stay beyond the scuttle, where your team now goes and fights without you, and now you're doomed. We shadowed the Ezreal because he's fed, with 16 assists, but he's fed nonetheless. We want to be here. We have the Renekton pushing top side. The problem is Malzahar does have TP, but their team could be either 5v2ing you here, 5v1ing up here, 1 here, 3 here, or 4 here, just trying to create a numbers advantage in some capacity. Let's find out. Well, they are not put together at all, are they? This is exactly when you want to pull the trigger if you're blue team. Like, now's when you want to go in, when you have that numbers advantage in some capacity, but we don't use it. The Malzahar TP's in. The Renekton's also going to TP over here as well. Baited in and not pull the trigger fast enough did the blue team. Goes in, Zhonya's is burned, gets ulted, suppressed, everyone kites back beautifully, Renekton's the big body, Bard's going to smack that ult up, Lillia's just going to wait for the super to hits that E as well, there we go, nicely done. Beautiful. Great fighting from everybody. Lillia is absolutely monstrously fed, super strong, we'll look at the healing in a second. Conqueror huge, passive huge, build huge. Not so bad in high elo, is it? Let's look at the data here very quickly. We've got, oh, it doesn't tell me. Does it tell me here? No! I wish it would tell us how much we actually healed. You have to look in the end game. And of course, all the match history is linked below for you, so you can go ahead and have a look for that yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully see you all in the next one and also in the Virkayu GG special server and the courses.